PS02, Helen Powell, Stoke Lodge. You have 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors rejected Cottam School's proposal to double the capacity of the Stoke Lodge pavilion to 80 because of the traffic issues that would come with sports club hire. Now the school wants to just refurbish the pavilion, and to get public money for this, it promised the funding agency that it would use it for school use only, no club hire, so no traffic issues. But it has told BCC the opposite, and now officers plan to let Cottam hire the pavilion for up to 120 players with no restrictions at all. A reasonable landlord would allow it to refurbish the pavilion, but only for its own use, because that is the promise it made to get its grant funding. Something has gone very wrong when a school can, by underhand means, get public funding to inflict dangerous road conditions on a local community. You have 10 seconds left. And when unelected officers knowingly wave it through.
You know, it is my understanding that Cottam School are now back using their playing fields at Stoke Lodge, which is their lawful position, as I shared with you when we met. And after having their plans for a much larger pavilion rejected by both our planning committee and the central government planning inspector, the school has scaled back their plans and will now repair and reuse the existing pavilion building. And a planning application for the required works for that will not be required. If the school did want to spend their money to carry out the highway improvements, then obviously we would have a conversation with them about that. But the school have long maintained that their funding will not go to highways, but will only go to educational purposes.
Thank you. Sorry about my confusion. It's my head rather than the script here I got in front of me. So obviously, nobody's had a response to the questions that we've received. So obviously, the Mayor or the Cabinet Member will respond, and then it's your opportunity to ask a supplementary from the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll look forward to the written response and respond to that in due course. The Department for Education has recently written to Cottam School confirming that the community's access to Stoke Lodge is protected under the lease. But the school says the land is its own private property, and it recently locked everyone out for over a month. When I complained about this breach of the lease, BCC officers told me the lease is between us and the school, and you can't make us enforce it. Personally, I think that attitude should really concern this council. And so my question is, please, Mr. Mayor, would you come for one of your morning runs at Stoke Lodge to see how the approach taken by your officers affects the local community? It will be more of a tough mudder than a park run, but please, will you come?
Well, I did do a tough mudder not too long ago, but that's beside the point. I think I just want to say something on behalf of our officers here. We've had this conversation when we met with me, you and the school in my office about the way we portray each other and how we set an example to the city of how we do public debate. So I need to see the letter, but if people communicated to you in that dismissive tone, then that's something that we would want to know about. If they have not, but that's the way you've interpreted it, then I would ask that we be very careful in representing to keep good faith. What we want in Bristol are solutions in the face of competing interests and often very challenging circumstances. We were dealing with one just last week on the trees on Lower Ashley Road. So my point is we'll look in at what's going on. When we met, my effort was to try and broker a more civil discussion between all the parties, bearing in mind our legal position, but we're all responsible for keeping that going, and I'd ask you to be a part of that. But we'll look at the way our officers have dealt with things.